Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the episode of Humanitarian Millionaires. And as I continue sharing about my journey, today I thought I would dedicate this episode to celebrations. Celebrations of my amazing clients, celebrations of my journey of recovering from failure after failure. And I want to talk about the importance of why we need to have this in mind, especially if we're going through hard times. And I also know that while some of my clients are having great success, I also know a lot of other clients are going through a lot of difficulties. So I was coaching a client yesterday, and she was telling me that while I know that wallowing in these difficulties and emotional drama as to how hard it is and how things are not working is not helpful, but I still want to just let it all out, right? And we were doing exactly that, getting her let out everything. She's transitioning to the private sector, and she was so afraid to network with people. And I was telling her that is the work to do, to go through these fears and go to the other side. And then as we work through getting her out all of those emotions and then going back to, okay, even though we don't want to indulge and wallow in the emotions, but getting that out is so helpful so that you keep going and doing the things. And then she later texted me saying that she finally have someone respond to her cold messaging about a job, and she's so amazed and feeling great. And she was telling me that I should have had the courage to do this earlier, then I would have had different results. But still, and she was telling me that she now has a panic of what to talk about and how to talk about it, right? But that's the thing is that when we are so afraid and so sabotaging ourselves, which I will talk about in my own journey, especially this week. It has been so challenging. Yet I was also looking at how I got another message from my client yesterday, WhatsApp message, and I shared with you all where she got the job, the dream of her job at the UN P3 in the duty station that she always wanted to work for. And she was telling me how determined she was, and she was even not applying for any other jobs because she said, okay, this is what I want to do, and that's it. And and that's how she got the job, right? And of course, we worked through the application process and all of this, but still, that determination that got her to this job. And when we're celebrating her and many other people who are getting to the outcome that they want to, we want to really look at, okay, what got us to this outcome, even though it was very challenging in the process, right? It is very challenging, for instance, to keep uh, applying only to the job that you want to and not even consider any other options. Because your brain obviously will be saying that, well, you need to have a lot of different ways to take care of yourself because this, if in case this doesn't work, then how are you going to handle it? And my message here is not really. Uh, like apply for one thing and then wait for it, or don't apply for many places, right? But my message here is how much of that energy of determination, energy of commitment, energy of no matter what, I'm getting this is going to help you land the thing that you want to. And I wanted to use this episode to celebrate, but also in the celebration, to look at what is really that got us to this place. And Another thing that I want us to look at is if I hadn't done this work, then I wouldn't be here where I am. So now I would like to look at my own journey of this week as an example, right? And probably this week's example that I'm sharing can be extrapolated to any other journey that you are having and going through as well. And in this journey, one of the things that I was realizing this week is when you keep failing and failing, there is this feeling that eventually comes up, well, maybe even comes up very fast for some of you. And that feeling is it even worth it? Or why am I even trying to do this? Right? Why do I keep doing this when I could have easily said, okay, this is already good enough? Or for some of you, maybe you may be saying, okay, I don't want to keep doing it because it's just too hard and let me and quit and then go do something else. And in those moments when it feels like, why am I even doing this to myself? I really want to answer to myself with how my determination, my commitment, and my drive for this is the only way how I want to do things is gotten me to the amazing outcomes that I love in my life. Right? So, for instance, if I hadn't done this work to get to work for UNHCR, then I wouldn't have known how to work with so many people at major leagues, let's say, and I wouldn't have grown in the way that I have exponentially in my career, right? And also, of course, I could say that I wouldn't have learned the world of UN and learned the world of diplomacy, though learned the world of complicated ways to address problems that are not easy for most of the time. I wouldn't have learned it. And therefore, I wouldn't have the depths of understanding of how challenging it is, but also depths of understanding in the human power as to how we're capable of doing more than what we believe we can. And all of that work to get me to UNHCR, for instance, got me into that depths of knowledge about the world, about myself, about so many amazing people. And this is how I have grown to a point where I started looking at, okay, is this how I want to make the impact this way or another way? And that's how I went to my coaching journey. Right. And the other thing is, as I built my coaching journey and as I built how to go through everything and how to solve my burnout and depression and all of this, I have also learned so much about what is inside human nature, so much about the inner worlds of how the human nature ticks. And I am so grateful for it. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't pursued what I really want to do in life. And if I hadn't done it with commitment and determination, even in the toughest times. And that's what I like to remind myself, especially when I kept going through these challenges of self-sabotage the whole time, the challenges of not wanting to do the work when I knew that I could do that, challenging times of struggling with myself and battling with myself, which I believe a lot of my clients go through as well. So I am using these celebrations, I'm using the essence of how we got to the place that we really want to as the reason to say, okay, next time when I'm celebrating something that I'm pursuing now, when I get there, I will be remembering this determination. I will be remembering what this achievement gave me into the next level world of depths and excellence and um, ability to solve the most challenging problems of humans and feeling good about myself. And that's why it is worth doing the work now. That's what I'm reminding myself, right? So that's one way to go through the difficulties and challenges. If especially you are going through and your brain is saying, is it even worth it? Why am I even doing it? I could have not done it, or I could have quit. I could have gone to something else. If you are in that phase that I was this week, then I can anchor myself, one, in the how all of this going through the challenges to the other side got me to the life of depths and fulfillment that I didn't even know was possible. And how this time, when I'm going to the next level of achievement of what I want to, how that will unlock for me the world that I haven't yet even imagined how that can look like. And another way that I can anchor is looking at my clients' amazing achievements and my clients' determination and commitment and keep going even if things are so damn challenging, and knowing that if they can do it, I can do it as well, and equally if I can do it, they can do it as well. And reminding myself all the time that if I hadn't gone to doing this coaching work, then I wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with humanitarians from more than 50 countries now. And if I hadn't done this coaching work, then I wouldn't have been able to witness what are the changes they make in their lives. What are the changes that make them land a job where it feels like winning a lottery, where they are able to not only land a job they want to or start a job they want to, but also start a family and feeling like they finally feel in charge of how to design and live their lives, right? So I wouldn't have been able to witness that if I hadn't gone to coaching. And if I hadn't gone through challenges of building coaching, then I wouldn't have learned what resources I have to go through them. And also, I wouldn't have been able to showcase how I have done it and I keep doing it. And therefore, I'm not asking anyone to do something that I haven't done. Right? So then that makes me be the leader that I want to be, who walks the talk of, if this is what needs to be done, I am doing it and you are doing it with me together, which makes me then feel very powerfully equal, like to other people. So whenever the brain says, is it worth it? Is this worth the try? Is this worth the failure? Is this worth the suffering from those failures, right? In those moments, I would like for you to look at your past celebrations, past achievements, um, all the things that you feel proud of, or you feel, I'm happy that I did that in my life. And then look at how did you do that? Look at how did you get yourself to that place? And if you have been able to do that, you are able to do that again. It's in the process of failing, it will be very challenging. As I said, my journey this week has been so much full of self-sabotage. And while on the outside, it may not look like anything bad, or even if I tell people, people may say, well, it's not that bad. I mean, it could have been worse than all of this, right? But for me, inside my own brain, obviously, it was very hard, right? It was very hard also because I know that I'm capable of doing XYZ, but then I'm sabotaging myself here, not doing it. And then me using my circumstances, me using other people's presence or whatever other things to then say, oh, that's why I didn't do it, or that's why I couldn't do it, or that's why this, that's why that. And then me observing myself, how I'm doing that, how I'm sabotaging myself, and how I'm going against myself breaks my heart even further. And I believe many people can relate to this, whether it is self-sabotage or whether challenges that they're facing with other people, and then them feeling like, okay, that's not how I want things to be, right? And in those moments, it is so then easy to just say, okay, I'm just going to stay on the couch, as you can see my couch behind. For me, it is very easy then to say, I'm just going to stay on the couch. And we also know that staying on the couch is not going to get us to living the life we want to, right? So that's why in those moments, I'm now making it a habit to look at why was it worth it last time when I did it? So when I went to work for UN, it was one of my biggest, probably, and daring dreams that I went for. And I did it because I was so driven by doing this work with refugees. That was it. That I didn't have any other reason for doing it. And I just thought, okay, if I can just get a chance to work with them, I don't care how things go. I don't care what I'm gonna do. I don't care what challenges I need to go through. All I want is work on this. And that's the part that I like about myself. And I believe a lot of humanitarians have the similar spirit in doing things. And I love to keep that spirit for everything else that I do. And I would like to encourage you to do that in your the most challenging moments, to say, no, I'm the type of person who goes for the thing that I believe in no matter what happens. And that's how I did as well when I went to coaching, right? When I went to coaching, I also felt, okay, I don't care what are the challenges that will come. I'm willing to go through because I'm someone who loves working on the impact that I really believe in. And I want to continue that journey and being that person, no matter how challenging and how difficult life gets. So, my message with this celebration is really, you are celebrating what you achieve, but you are also celebrating what energy and what identity got you to where you are. And use that celebration to understand what that energy and identity is. And then next time, when you are in the trenches again, when you are in the most difficult times again, when your brain is saying, is it even worth it? You are able to say, yes, because I'm this type of person. I'm the type of person who's very committed, who's very dedicated, determined. And I'm the type of person who always works on the impact that I really care about, that I really believe makes me the person I want to. And that's why this going through challenges is part of that package. And as I am recovering from my failures of this week, and as I understand that my failures come to tell me that this is the work that you still need to do. So this week's failure is telling me that I still have a lot of self-sabotage, that I need to get hang of it, and I will do that. But also knowing that I can go through it, and knowing that it is worth going through it anyway. And I hope you will find your own reasoning as to why it is still worth going through to the other side, because you are the type of person who works on that impact that really matters to you. If you would like my support, let me know how I can support you. In the meantime, have a beautiful weekend.